Hello everyone, welcome back. And in this video, we are going to continue the conversation about radical equation. And we are going to see some special example to see what happened to the solution. How is that we can have some cases like no solution at all. So in previous video, we check a lot of examples. We know in order to solve this equation, we always need to focus on two things, which is isolating the square root and also get rid of the square root symbol by square root. That's the inverse operation for the square root, okay? So now let's check this example. What we are going to do is, we're going to solve it like we did before. We isolate the square root. And then we know in order to get rid of the square root, we need to square it. So now I have that. -1 times here. I just want to remind you again, -1 squared meaning -1 times -1. So that's why it's 1. Okay, some students just type the -1 squared in the calculator without using parentheses. So that's why sometimes you see the different answer or wrong answer. And then we just solve like a regular equation. The final answer for this is 7. So a little bit different is I'm going to check here. Like we did before, we put solutions into equation, which is 7 minus 6 minus 7. Let's say it's really going to be -8. 7 minus 6 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 minus 7, is that really 8? 1 minus 7 is -6, right? Apparently, -6 is not -8. So what is going on? Did we do something wrong? Apparently, we used the strategy we used before, right? So some students might wonder, how is that possible? How is that we are wrong here? So here is the thing. I want you to really focus on these steps here. So in this step, originally we have square root of x minus 6 equal to -1. Now, let's stop, do not solve it, but focus on this question. What number, the square root of that number is -1? You can really pause the video to think about this. And apparently you will see, actually there's no such thing, right? There's no such number when you find the square root can be negative number. And if you really go back to the original function we mentioned before is, the domain for this function is x is greater than or equal to 0. X has to be a positive or 0 number, and same as y. So when we say square root of a number equal to a -1, that means no solution, because there's no such number existed. In the domain, we cannot find such number whose square root is -1. It just not existed. So that's a special case with radical equation, but no solution. Okay? So that's just an example I want you to give a double think regarding this type of equation. Thank you so much for learning this topic with me. I hope all these videos are helpful. See you soon in the future.